In 1937, the most famous pilot in the world vanished without a trace over the Pacific Ocean. Amelia Earhart was attempting to become the first woman to fly around the globe, along with navigator Fred Noonan, when their plane lost radio contact near Howland Island. The US Navy launched the largest search in history at the time, scanning millions of square miles of open ocean. They found nothing: no wreckage, no debris, no confirmed remains. Radio operators reported faint, garbled distress calls for days. Decades later, researchers uncovered bone fragments on a remote island that may match her measurements, along with a woman's shoe and a broken compass box. DNA testing remained inconclusive. Some believe she crash-landed and survived for weeks as a castaway. The US government officially lists her fate as unknown. Do you think she survived longer than anyone realized? In 1908, something exploded over Siberia with the force of 1,000 nuclear bombs and left no crater at all. The Tunguska Event flattened over 80 million trees across 800 square miles of remote forest in Russia. Witnesses hundreds of miles away reported a blinding flash, a shockwave that knocked people off their feet, and skies that glowed bright enough to read a newspaper at midnight for days afterward. Reindeer herds in the area reportedly did not survive the blast. Scientists didn't reach the site to investigate for nearly 20 years. No meteorite fragments were ever recovered. No impact crater was ever found. The leading theory suggests a small asteroid or comet exploded in the air before touching ground, but no physical evidence has ever confirmed it. Officially, the case is closed as a meteor airburst. Unofficially, the missing evidence has never stopped fueling other theories. In 1888, a killer terrorized London and was never caught, despite the largest manhunt England had ever seen. Jack the Ripper unalived at least 5 women in the impoverished Whitechapel district, mutilating his victims with surgical precision that led police to suspect he had medical training. He taunted investigators directly, allegedly sending letters signed with his chosen name, one reportedly arriving with part of a human organ enclosed. Scotland Yard investigated over 100 suspects, including doctors, butchers, and even a member of the royal household, without ever making an arrest. The attacks stopped as suddenly as they began, with no clear explanation why. Local newspapers whipped the public into a citywide panic within days. His true identity has fueled theories for over a century, from royal conspiracy to hidden confession letters recently rediscovered. Do you think his identity will ever finally be confirmed? In 1483, 2 royal children were locked in a tower and never seen again. King Edward V, just 12 years old, and his younger brother Richard were placed in the Tower of London by their uncle, who had been named their protector. Within months, that uncle crowned himself King Richard III instead. The princes were seen playing in the Tower gardens less and less, until witnesses stopped seeing them entirely. Rumors of their fate spread immediately, but no bodies were produced, no funeral was held, and no official explanation was ever given by the crown. 2 centuries later, workmen found a wooden box containing 2 small skeletons buried beneath a staircase in the tower. Historians officially call it one of history's great unsolved mysteries. The royal family has never allowed the bones to be tested, even though modern forensic technology could resolve it within days. In Scotland, dozens of dogs have jumped from the exact same bridge for no clear reason. Overtoun Bridge sits near an old estate in Dumbarton, and since the 1950s, over 50 dogs have leaped from the same 50-foot parapet, almost always on clear, dry days. Many were calm, well-trained pets, showing no signs of distress beforehand. Some survived the fall and were carried back up, only to return weeks later and jump again from the identical spot. Theories range from a strong mink scent driving dogs to chase prey off the edge, to ultrasonic frequencies only animals can hear, to local local legend claiming the bridge is simply cursed. Scientific investigations have ruled out several explanations but never landed on one confirmed answer. Local residents now avoid walking dogs across that bridge entirely. What do you think is really happening there? In 1987, someone hijacked a live TV broadcast wearing a mask and vanished without ever being identified. During a Chicago news broadcast, the signal suddenly cut out and was replaced by a figure in a mask mimicking the local Max Headroom character, standing in front of a spinning metal background. For nearly 2 minutes, the intruder rambled incoherently, made strange gestures, and was struck with a fly swatter by an unseen accomplice before the original broadcast abruptly returned. The hijack required expensive, specialized broadcasting equipment and precise technical knowledge of the station's own frequency. Ruling out a simple prank, the FCC launched a federal investigation, but the perpetrator was never caught, despite a nationwide search involving multiple agencies. No one has ever claimed responsibility, even decades later. The equipment used has never been traced, and the case remains completely unsolved to this day. In 1901, divers found a corroded bronze device that shouldn't have existed for another 1,000 years. The Antikythera Mechanism was recovered from an ancient Greek shipwreck, a tangle of gears so corroded it was initially dismissed as scrap metal. Decades of X-ray analysis eventually revealed over 30 precisely cut bronze gears, capable of tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, and even predicting eclipses years in advance. Nothing built with that level of mechanical complexity appears again in the historical record for well over 1,000 years. Historians still don't know who built it or whether similar devices existed and were simply lost to time. Some researchers believe the technology may have been deliberately suppressed or forgotten during periods of war and conquest. The device now sits in an Athens museum, still not fully understood. How did ancient engineers achieve something that advanced?